day and welcome to the first episode of our new feature, the Community Matter Show, brought to you by the Western Cape Department of Infrastructure. Today, we chat to a leader and a visionary who is championing the backdrop of the province's economy, and that's none other than Minister Tertius Simmers, who heads up the Department of Infrastructure in the Western Cape. On today's show, we'll be unpacking the infrastructure's 2025-2026 budget with focus on the Western Cape infrastructure framework, new transport infrastructure, the new transport infrastructure operational model, and many more developments that the department is involved in. What's your perception? I'd love to know on the Western Cape's Infrastructure Department. What are your lived experiences with him? We want to hear all of that. So you can visit Minister Tertius Simmers and tag using @MIN or MIN _T Simmers. That's SIMMERS using hashtag Community Matters. Also do drop us a text or a WhatsApp or to engage with the Minister and ask questions, of course. We want you as the listeners to drive this particular conversation. Our WhatsApp number, of course, 029 913 913. And all your questions will be answered on the next show taking place on the 3rd of June 2025 during episode 2 of the Community Matters Show. Minister Tertius Simmers, thank you so much for your time today.
Hi, good day to all of those who will be part of this journey of change and empowerment through our sessions.
And a good opportunity for the Western Cape government to engage with, with the listeners and the viewers today, and also for the listeners to have an opportunity to learn a little bit more about the work of the Western Cape government. We'll start off on that particular note, Minister. Speak to us about the mandate of the Western Cape's Department of Infrastructure.
Well, firstly, the Department of Infrastructure, which is unique in its kind, that it's the only one in the provincial government within this country, which we were part of two former departments, the Department of Transport and Public Works and Human Settlements. Both spoke to separate but yet communal interests in terms of the infrastructure sector. But then the Premier indicated that let's create a department that focuses on infrastructure as a whole, bringing all of these elements together. So our core mandate, bringing these two separate departments who are mega job creators, who are creators of opportunity, who are creators of empowerment, let's bring it under one flagship. So our first and foremost mandate is how do we utilize infrastructure-led investment to ensure the creation of job opportunities for the various skills levels within our province. How do we ensure that these opportunities are seized by the citizen? But also, how do we use the vehicles of empowerment, which is made possible through infrastructure, either through my department or through our partnership with the private sector partners on this journey, to ensure that ultimately our citizens are the true beneficiaries of infrastructure-led growth in its total meaning. But we also have a day-to-day mandate and function which vests within my department. Again, we were separate departments. But these elements are key to infrastructure development and infrastructure maintenance and infrastructure planning for the future. So we do have different branches that ensures that we maintain the capability of contributing 29% of all infrastructure investment within the Western Cape as a provincial department. So we do have a massive role to play as a provincial department. So we have what is called public works infrastructure. This is the land the buildings, as it's commonly called by the citizens of this province. That is the asset portfolio which also drives our ambitious focus on shaping the future of infrastructure in the province. Then we have transport infrastructure, which is colloquially called roads. We have the paved network or the tarred road network and the unpaved or the gravel road network, as it's called by our communities. Both play a phenomenal role for the various sectors of the economy which they serve. So we maintain them, we upgrade them, and we expand them, all of which is within the provincial portfolio, I must add. Then we have human settlements in all its entirety, from your low-cost housing to social housing to affordable housing, but also new elements of the human settlements family which we are introducing through this branch in our province. But then, because we seek to empower our communities, we seek to ensure that they actually are the true beneficiaries of what we do through our mandate. So this is now through community-based works programs, or the expanded public works program, where we create and empower a temporary job opportunity to ensure we put you on a pathway with a vision that you do link with the private sector, who is a key player in our plans and in our mandate as a department, that we empower you so you can ultimately get a permanent job within this province. So that is our broad mandate. We are shaping the Western Cape of the future. We are empowering the Western Cape of the future. But I think above all, we are partnering with all elements to ensure that we create that Western Cape of the future as a department with our citizens.
Yeah. We spoke about it in the introduction, but today's focus being on the 2025-2026 budget. Speak to us then about, or outline for us, what are some of the priority projects for the Department of Infrastructure in the Western Cape?
Well, we recently concluded the Western Cape Infrastructure Implementation Plan, or the Singular Pipeline, which is an ambitious 200 billion rand project pipeline that focuses over multiple financial cycles, but key to the current financial year, which means they are at planning or implementation stages, given the nature of infrastructure, which is key to understand for our community out there, who we seek to empower through these types of programs. Roads plays a massive role in our portfolio, and within that we have what is called the R300 extension. The year we will seek to ensure that there are different roads within the R300, but we will start from the northern side of our portfolio, which is where we will seek to connect the Bron to Wellington, which is a 1 billion rand project. It will also seek in phase 2 of that project to connect Wellington to Melkbosstrand. So we're actually connecting the city to one non-metro area. But we also are going to focus on expanding and the improvement and upgrading of our gravel road network, given its importance to the agricultural sector. The first phase, we will seek to focus on 1,200 kilometers of our gravel road network. We estimate that will cost in excess of just well over 10 billion rand. Again, it's through partnerships in its various formats. But we also have the Southern Growth Scheme. Again, it's the Wingfield area and the surrounding components linked to that road network. That is an 11 billion rand program. It is packaged in 12 different packages. We recently concluded in 2024 what we all call the refinery interchange over the N7. That was the first work package that was concluded. The other 11 will be introduced through the course of the life cycle of that specific project. But we also have a number of other projects that form part of a 200 billion rand singular infrastructure pipeline. These are schools, clinics, some mega hospitals. Again, we act as a developer, implementing agent for the Department of Health. Then, of course, there is ultimately our human settlements portfolio itself, where we have inner city developments. The Premier and I recently announced the Leeuwloop mixed-use development project, the first of its kind in the inner city of the city of Cape Town. That is almost a 1 billion rand project on its own. The tender has gone out on the 25th of April. We are about to announce the Artscape mixed-use development that will yield in excess of over 2,500 housing opportunities, again in the inner city. But then we also have in the non-metro area, also in terms of our investment in human settlements and the roads component, in excess of just close to 10 billion rand worth of packaged programs or investment opportunities through our supply chain that will be announced during this financial year. Again, I need to emphasize, there's planning and implementation. These are two variables which is very important for our sector to ensure that there's continuous development within that 200 billion rand pipeline, and unlocking the true potential of that pipeline does focus on partnership, which will bridge what we get in grant funding, I must say, which will never be enough to speak to our living reality of unlocking the potential of infrastructure in the province, versus the new forms of blended financing, which we'll be embarking on as a department in support with our other part, the provincial treasury. So as you can hear, there's a mixture of projects and programs focusing on the plethora of infrastructure itself, from settlement development to improvement and upgrading of roads, the key components of a thriving economy.
Now, speak to us about what makes the Western Cape Infrastructure Framework, the 2050 rather, the Infrastructure Framework 2050, the pillar of your department.
Well, firstly, I must say I'm very happy that the Provincial Cabinet actually endorsed the Western Cape Infrastructure Framework 2050. It was a very ambitious task between myself and my head of department and department to bring to life a framework which outlines for the first time all the projects and programs of national, province, local government and the private sector under one banner.
Now, Minister, you recently announced that you'll be launching EVE. What is EVE and what's it all about?
Well, I think the Premier is the grandfather and I'm the father of EVE, to be quite honest. We cannot look away from the fact that we are living in the fourth industrial revolution. And the role of technology, the way that artificial intelligence plays a phenomenal role in how the citizen engages its government, how if you use artificial intelligence smartly, it actually enhances the service delivery experience between the citizen and the state. So EVE stands for the Enhanced Virtual Experience, which is the first of its kind, but EVE is decentralized so that EVE can learn, and she's learning quite quickly, I can tell you. She's designed to ensure that residents can interact with her, so she speaks to multiple platforms, WhatsApp, email, she speaks to Facebook and all the other elements through which we get inquiries from our citizens in the Western Cape. But EVE will not only be easily accessible, she will be smart, and she is already smart. Toddler EVE is scrolling quite quickly already, I can tell you. So looking forward to see teenager EVE very soon up and running. But what's very important to understand is that EVE is but a bigger part of where we as a department are taking the use of artificial intelligence through a provincial department and ultimately influencing the Western Cape government's approach to artificial intelligence. Roads is another big portfolio. And EVE will have a brother called Adam, which seeks to bring all the tools and mechanisms which the roads portfolio has, where we are busy creating Adam, and I'm just using a name for Adam at the moment, given that it will focus on enhancing the citizens' experience of our road network, to log complaints, to ensure that we can react quicker. And Adam's focus will be on our almost more than 30,000 kilometer network, again, utilizing artificial intelligence, utilizing the citizen to be part of the journey of change. So Adam and EVE, as much as they will be artificial intelligence apps that will deal with queries, they will also seek to empower our citizen, which means that you are a key component for Adam and EVE in this regard. But the apple here is information, which we seek to share, which we also seek to get from the end users of our artificial intelligence app. So again, the citizens will, by November, see teenager EVE, I believe, and brother Adam will follow suit in November. And that will showcase, again, our vision as a department to use technology and its continuous advancements in the interest of those who we ultimately must serve, the citizen.
Yeah, it certainly sounds like EVE was definitely built differently.
EVE is open.
Minister, now, of course, with infrastructure development comes the conversation of job creation, of course. So speak to us about how that's going to be achieved through, these projects that you've outlined.
Look, with each of our portfolio of projects, and there's a multitude, at the moment, as you and I are talking, there's just under 1,000 projects happening across our province. Be that planning, implementation, roads, be they human settlements, be they public works, be they general infrastructure. So I will answer you in very narrow terms, given that this is a very vast portfolio. Now, our community-based programs is a very good example. I can refer our community who are following us. Given just in the current financial year, we are allocating nearly 80 million rand, which will ensure that this program empowers our people. It provides temporary job opportunities, but also providing them with skills that will enable them for the long term. So that's 80 million rand well spent. But infrastructure needs artisans. So artisan development is very key to us. So we're just using just over 6 million to ensure this artisan development happening across our province. A big component of our population is youth. And by youth, I mean those that are 18 to 35 according to the National Classification of Youth. We are investing 20 million in the National Youth Service Program, again to empower our young people who will be the engineers and the shapers of the Western Cape of the future. We also are aware that there are contractors that need development to benefit from this 200 billion rand singular project pipeline into the future. So we are utilizing 4.78 million rand in this financial year to further focus on contracted development. But for every rand we spend, the biggest question which we normally get is, what has been the impact of that investment in my community, in my municipal area, in our district, or even in the province? So we do have what is called an empowerment impact assessment tool. We will spend money to assess, is our investment on behalf of the taxpayers of the Western Cape truly capitalizing and reaching its true potential? But we also have the Expanded Public Works Program. Again, it creates non-permanent job opportunities for specific periods linked to a number of our projects and even through our private sector partners. And our target from 2024 till 2029 is to create 313,000 job opportunities. And 90,000 of those job opportunities as a provincial government is directly linked to my portfolio in the infrastructure sector. And we are well on track to actually deliver on that. In terms of our roads portfolio, again, there's highly skilled projects and programs, but it also utilizes various sub-level of skill sets that's needed in our roads portfolio. And to date, we've created, we're not even far down this new financial year yet. 2,800 job opportunities have been created since the fourth quarter of last year. 980 full-time jobs has been created in terms of this portfolio, and we believe that in the current financial year we will be able to create a further 3,247 job opportunities within this cycle. So as you can hear, this is a portfolio that has the ability to generate a lot of job opportunities, but more so cutting across various age cohorts, male, female, persons with disability. So indeed, infrastructure does contribute to job creation when it's done properly, with a clear plan, followed through in our supply chain processes, and that is what you can see through all of our programs. Again, just under 1,000 projects happening across the province as we speak at the moment.
Yeah. Minister, we understand that your department is undertaking the implementation of the new provincial roads delivery model. What's this new model all about, and how will it benefit the people of the province?
Well, as a province, we are focused on how do we ensure value for money, how do we enhance the citizens' experience of service delivery, and the logic is linking it to job opportunities, and road infrastructure plays a massive role in achieving that focused objective of the provincial government. Now, the new roads delivery model is a groundbreaking step in that direction, because we are shifting towards better governance. Yes, we are known for it, but we can do better in this sector. How do we ensure better financial accountability in terms of our roads program? And how do you get an excellent service delivery experience driving literally on our roads? So the district municipalities for many, many years have done an agency function on behalf of province. But in certain districts, there was no real value for money. We believed that we could and were able to actually deliver more. So it made sense to ultimately draw our function back, ensuring that nobody loses their jobs in the process, while seeking to enhance the citizens' experience of the specific portfolio. Now, our current arrangement with the district municipalities does come to an end on the 1st of April 2026 to allow time to fine-tune the planning. Again, built into this new roads model is also the enhancement and the improvement of our gravel road network, which means we still have to engage the agricultural sector, because we now need to redefine certain key economic nodes and roads for them as part of our portfolio, while also ensuring that over the 12-month cycle, that as we wind up this agreement with the districts, the implementation of the new model ultimately does speak to that reality, but it must also be a smooth adjustment and transition. So we have packaged the new provincial roads delivery model in phases. Phase 1A focuses on 3 of our 5 districts, which means the citizens in the district of the Cape Winelands, the Garden Route and the Central Karoo, those 3 have been earmarked for Phase 1A. Phase 1B runs concurrently, but those 2 districts, given that they still provide us value for money, but how do we change and amend and adapt our relationship with those districts? That's why they are part of Process 1B, and ultimately our budget allocation is aligned to the Infrastructure Framework 2015 terms of this portfolio, effective allocation of our funding. How do we ensure that all of this is done to the best of all of our abilities, so that the citizens in all of these regions can ultimately feel the effect now of province taking, leading, owning and implementing its own portfolio from the centre effectively and efficiently. But one does need to thank the district municipalities for what they have done, but with a new focus, a sharper focus, change is inevitable, and we all must adapt to that change.
Minister, I'm going to ask you to grab your headphones over there. We have received a voice note from one of our listeners. It's a question around the issue of potholes.
As a frequent traveler at the Western Cape, whenever I head there, I'm so relieved because there isn't any potholes visible on the routes that I use. So I'm giving credit where it's due. Big ups to the Minister of Infrastructure and the team. We see you guys. Thank you so much.
Well, more comment than a question. But would you like to respond, Minister?
Well, firstly, I do want to thank for the beautiful message I'll convey to our roads teams. Again, that is what this province is known for. Whether you come from the Eastern Cape, Free State, Northern Cape, all the sub-ulterior routes which forms part of our provincial road network, we get the same comment, but it's a comment well taken, given that it speaks to exactly what I spoke to, what our province is known for, and that is the ability to maintain, upgrade and expand its provincial road network.
Yeah. Now, Minister, obviously an uncomfortable topic, but the issue of construction mafias in the Western Cape and some issues in terms of that. Speak to us about what your department is doing to sort of address the issue of, construction mafias and extortion and others.
Well, look, we have to understand that our department, just like any other provincial government, also including the private sector, has been impacted by crime, which is ultimately what these mafias are, and extortion. It has delayed some of our projects to such an extent that crucial projects actually are standing still. Now, the leading agency which is actually tasked to deal with the construction mafia and the extortion and racketeering rings is the South African Police Service. And I do engage them regularly, and they are making progress as we seek to work together in our efforts to actually address the impact of crime through the construction mafia on our sector. Now, in 2020 is a good example. Infrastructure projects across Cape Town were falling victim to action the construction mafia, and to such an extent that specific projects were targeted, and we went to the police, we engaged the police together with the City of Cape Town. A centralized task team was put in place so we could escalate these matters and it can be effectively addressed. But what we did monitor and realize through working together with the police and the City of Cape Town is that, we started seeing elements of people terrorizing these sites as one of the versions of the construction mafia. We saw intimidation, we saw people being assaulted, and in some cases there's said even killings on specific sites. So we've had to, together with SAPS, we've also utilized the private security sector in terms of monitoring and tactical teams, in terms of our own provincial projects and programs. We do assist certain municipalities through our contracts as well. And what has been astounding is that the common phenomenon across our province, not just in the city, is people demand 30%, which used to be in the old Preferential Procurement Act. But it's their interpretation of the 30% which actually now has led to acts of criminality. And we have a firm position as a provincial department, as does the provincial government, as does our local authorities. We act within the rule of law, and the partnership with SAPS is playing a crucial role in how we seek to address this. But what the key partner in all of this, and I really want those that we seek to empower through this program, is our community. You have a massive role to play. It's no use that we hear about these incidences, but there's no case numbers. And when there's case numbers, there's suddenly no witnesses to this. So please, community, you do have to play your part in us effectively addressing this through SAPS.
Yeah. Now, we know, of course, with some austerity measures by the national government impacting some key sectors of society in South Africa, the housing budget was one of those key sectors that saw budget cuts. How does this impact on your plans for this financial year?
Well, we do need to understand when a unilateral cut of 300 million rand was announced for the 2024-2025 budget cut. It does have an effect over the remainder of the MTF cycle, which means it does affect our baseline, which means it affects our targets in broad terms, because what was planned on cannot be delivered. You need to reprioritize to fall within the new space which that new budget allows.
Yeah.
And we have declared an intergovernmental dispute with the National Department of Human Settlements, given the far-reaching implications of unilateral budget cuts, utilizing incorrect data sets, to be quite honest, because we do believe that it's time that the National Department of Human Settlements engages not just the Western Cape, but all provinces which has been affected. They need to show all of us, but how do you actually come to making your decisions? Given that for the Western Cape Department of Infrastructure, we are citizen-centric. We are where there are citizens and qualifying beneficiaries that are affected. Many of them have been decades waiting for this housing opportunity, which is sadly, due to a unilateral decision, is now impacted. They will wait even further. Now, focusing on the future, again, we are well aware that the sector will be impacted by further budget cuts, given the fiscal environment our country finds itself on. And the communities which was heavily affected by the 300 million rand unilateral cut are communities such as communities in Gugulethu, communities in Makassar, communities in Forest Village and Edward Street in the city of Cape Town. We are aware of the community of Vredebes in Witzenberg being affected. We are aware of Railton in Swellendam, which is a catalytic project, first of its kind for that municipality. In George, we have the Metro grounds. In Essequa, we have Stillertfontein. In Eisner, there are various small PHP projects that have been directly affected and will continuously remain affected. In Oudtshoorn, you have Duiselsdorp and Bongolethu that's been affected. And in Saldanha Bay, you have Langville that has been affected. So this is the massive impact when budgets are cut unilaterally, or when the budget in overall is lowered for us year on year. Now, infrastructure needs funding stability.
Yeah.
It must be able to show these multi-year budgets that are committed to that program. It's not just about rands and cents, but cementing partnership and the value of co-ownership of the investment which government does in partnership with you. And it's very important that our communities who follow our empowering sessions through the other shows we will be having remembers these words, because everything which we will be discussing, it's about partnership. It's about the citizen taking ownership with their government who delivers for them as we empower them, we redress the past, we shape the future. But central to all of this is the partnership between the state, through my department, and the beneficiary, who is the citizen. That is ultimately what we were elected to do, what you have empowered us to do, and how we seek to empower you now with the value of investing and working with us and walking this journey of change and hope with me and the Department of Infrastructure.
Yeah, we certainly all have a role to play for now, though. Minister, thank you very much for your time today. We look forward to another opportunity to have a sit down with you and perhaps learn a bit more about some of the work that is being done by the Department, the Western Cape Infrastructure Department. So for now, Minister, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, and I look forward to bringing Adam and Eve along with you.
We look forward to meeting them. Of course, for those of you who would like to engage with us, you're welcome to do so on the WhatsApp line on 0829 913 913. As mentioned, we'll get to your questions in the next episode. But until then, very good day. Assalamu alaikum.